Welcome to Jay's Sports. I'm your host, Show Chap, Detroit Lions News podcast. We're going to be talking about Jared Goff because I felt like you watch First Things First, whatever show Nick Wright's on that gets no ratings. Fine. You want to watch that show? So be it. It's a garbage show. Greg Jennings is on it. So there's a lot of other guys on it that they'll set Nick Wright straight. But, Nick Wright said that Jared Goff was just some wheezy peasy quarterback. I originally thought Jared Goff winning 30 games over the last 3 years would turn the tide of what Jared Goff really is as a quarterback, what he is as a leader, and what he means to the Detroit Lions. Obviously, that's not good enough for Nick Wright. And Nick Wright uses these just ass opinions, on Jared Goff. And I'm not going to play the clip because they'll probably copyright it from, on their YouTube end. So I'm not going to do it. But basically, Nick Wright said Jared Goff is not a quarterback that you can win a Super Bowl with, which is shocking to me because this is a guy who hypes up Dak Prescott. This is a guy who hypes up, Caleb Williams, who didn't play a game at that point. This is a guy who routinely hypes up the Chiefs, which good certain. The Chiefs are a really great team and they're a dynasty. There's only one quarterback in the NFL right now that could do what Patrick Mahomes is doing, and that's Patrick Mahomes. There's no other quarterback that you look around the NFL and go, what does he do? He does more with less. Let's go down the rabbit hole, will we? Joe Burrow has T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I say those are two good wide receivers. When did you say those are two good wide receivers? Dak Prescott has C.D. Lamb. It's a good wide receiver. And Jake Ferguson is an underrated tight end. Mark Andrews for the Baltimore Ravens. You got Zay Flowers for the Baltimore Ravens for Lamar Jackson. Trevor Lawrence, who is not playing well at all. He's got, Christian Kirk. Now he's got Gabe Davis and he's got Brian Thomas. Okay. Matthew Stafford. He won a Super Bowl. Who's his wide receivers? Cooper Kupp. Now it's Puka Nacua. I'm sensing a theme here. All right. Let's go on. Tom Brady. He won a Super Bowl. Who was his wide receivers in Tampa Bay? Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. Oh, you don't say. Here's the thing. What people need to understand, and I thought when Jared Goff had the game that he had last weekend, 24 for 29, 412 passing yards, 4 TDs, 0 interceptions, 158 passer rating, which is a perfect passer rating, by the way. I thought there's going to be no slander on Jared Goff. What Jared Goff is doing with this offense is special. It should be planted as special. Why is it that when Jared Goff makes the plays that are necessary, he throws the ball in the areas where the wide receivers can catch it? Why is he the guy who is saying, oh, he has great players around him? Oh, wow, this is a wild concept. You do have great players around you. That's just you can go all around the NFL. You could go to Tampa Bay, you can go to Kansas City, LA, either the Rams or the Chargers, the 49ers. They're routinely good teams, usually have good talent. I may be mistaken. Is a guy like Debo Samuel, George Kittle, are they good players? Yes. Patrick Mahomes is one of one. And I think when people compare quarterbacks, they always compare him to those one of one quarterbacks that just are superhumans. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, they do more with a lot less. Especially Josh Allen this year. He's doing a lot with a lot less. And what you're seeing from Jared Goff is just him being able to command the unit. I'll say this again. It tells me more about a quarterback when he throws 5 interceptions in a game and they still win said game. You can't discount that. And everyone can go back on that. And this is when the Jared Goff slander could start. But if you look at the last 5 games, 4 games, he threw no interceptions. He had one wild game where he threw 5 interceptions. And people want to, oh, Jared Goff is just the same old quarterback, guys. He's the same old quarterback. Just goes to show you. Some of these people that are on Fox, they're on ESPN, they're clueless, they're spineless, and usually they lack no merit. But I'm telling you, Jared Goff is doing such a good job with this Detroit Lions team. There's no quarterback that could do what Jared Goff has been able to do. And I mean that with sincerity too, because what Jared Goff has been able to do is he's allowed his talent to flourish. He gets credit for that. You know, I watched CD Lamb yesterday play with Cooper Rush. It wasn't the same CD Lamb. If you take Joe Burrow away from Jamar Chase, is it still Jamar Chase is carrying this guy? Whoever the backup is? Yeah, they can carry you to a couple wins. But the reality of the situation is you need a quarterback to get you the ball. In a league in the NFL where there is tons of need at quarterback, Jared Goff, who has taken a team to the Super Bowl, who is leading the Detroit Lions to heights that they've never been before. May I remind you, this is the first time the Detroit Lions since 1934 have been 9-1. This is the first 8-game winning streak since 1934 when the Detroit Lions moved to Detroit. And oh, by the way, the 30th win over the last 3 seasons was last Sunday, and look who is leading the charge, Jared Goff. Look, I'm not saying Jared Goff is the elite of the elite, but please spare me with this crap about he can't lead you to the big game. He can't win you a Super Bowl. He can't do this. I seen him get within a drop pass away from going to the Super Bowl and playing the Kansas City Chiefs. It's wild to me. It's truly wild to me that this is still an ongoing thing. And what Jared Goff has done and what he's projected to do, when you think about what he's projected to do over this season, it's a little bit skewed because of the 5 interceptions, but 34 touchdowns, 15 interceptions for the year, which I think that he's not going to repeat that 5 interception game. So he's going to throw through 4,200 yards, 73 completion percentage. And he's going to have a quarterback rating of 112.1. Doesn't sound too bad to me. Doesn't sound too bad to me. You know, like I said, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, they're 1 of 1 in this league. You don't get better than those two. But this is a league where there is a lot of need for quarterbacks. And when you watch a quarterback like Jared Goff lead a team and able to be one of the highest scoring offenses in the NFL, it's not by happenstance. It's just not because he has talent around him. Yes, talent does win you games, and there's no doubt about it. You can go over the last 7, 8 Super Bowls. Those teams had talent. But you don't get there without a quarterback that can facilitate the ball, throw the ball in the right directions, check in and out of run plays, get the right protections. That's what Jared Goff does correctly. So what Nick Wright said yesterday was a total joke, but leave it to Nick Wright, a guy who has long hair and looks like a hobo on TV. Leave it to him to have this insane opinion about Jared Goff. The same Nick Wright, who was telling everyone that the Chicago Bears were going to win the NFC North this year, who hyped Caleb Williams up to be the next Patrick Mahomes. Look, Caleb Williams might be up in the next Patrick Mahomes, but this year he is not. Nick Wright usually is this a hot take theater. He's your Timo version of Mr. Stephen A. Smith or Skip Bayless. I would say Skip Bayless because even though people don't like Stephen A. Smith, at least Stephen A. Smith has merit. At least he has objective um, stances. and he doesn't throw out hot takes that can't be proven. But that's Nick Wright. We'll see you guys in another Detroit Lions podcast video on JC Sports YouTube page. Please subscribe below, and we will keep you up to date with more Detroit Lions daily content on the Detroit Lions News podcast on JC Sports YouTube, where we will live stream our post game podcast, where we will live stream some of our podcasts that we do. And we will see you in the next video as we talk more Detroit Lions football.